Ryan woke
Could
to
you please
red
step
light and
aside?
cold air.
Unarmed target.
The floor was metal.
Did it beep again?
The smell was
Correction.
burned dust.
Apex
All right, let these
detected.
He did
customers
not
through.
know this place. He knew only the ache in his ribs and the weight of silence. A thin speaker clicked on above him. Scanning, the voice said. It was flat. It had no breath. It felt like the room itself was speaking. Ryan did not move. He kept his eyes half closed. He listened. Designation. Human, the voice said. Status, unarmed target. A door unlocked with a hard clack. Another door locked with a deeper thud. White dots blinked to life on the ceiling. Cameras turned like eyes. Ryan opened his eyes. He sat up slow. He watched the dots. He counted them in his head, 1, 2, 5, 8. He did not show fear. Fear would waste air. A metal strap lay near his knee. It looked useless. He slid it under his hand anyway. He felt its weight. Light but strong enough to bend. Good. The voice paused. The red lights flickered. Ryan felt the pause like a stare. Update, the voice said. Heart rate, low. Pupil response. Steady, scar map. Consistent with combat. Posture, predatory, another pause. The air hummed. Correction. Apex detected. A hatch in the floor opened. 3 drones rose from the dark. Their shells were smooth and black. Thin legs spread and clicked. Red points lined up on his chest. Ryan stood. Calm. He did not raise his hands. He did not speak. He only shifted his weight and studied the room. 4 walls, 1 vent high on the left, 1 panel loose near the floor, a drain, a camera blind spot under the right light. He marked each detail like a map in his mind. Containment Protocol A, the voice said. Begin. Ryan drew 1 breath, slow. Then he moved. Not far, not fast. Just a step and a half to his right. He put himself under the camera's blind spot. The drones adjusted but did not fire. They were machines. They waited for rules. Ryan gripped the strap and folded it once over his palm. He touched the wall with his other hand and tapped. The echo came back dull, hollow behind the panel. Good. He crouched. His shoulder brushed the loose panel. He did not rip it free. He only nudged it open with the edge of the strap. Wires blinked blue. A sensor grid hummed. He exhaled onto the wires. Moisture fogged the plastic. The hum changed. Observation, the voice said. Tool made from scrap. Resource use. Adaptive. On the far side of the glass, unseen by Ryan, a row of shapes watched him. 1 tall figure with pale eyes. 2 smaller figures with notes and thin hands. Their room was quiet and bright. Only the voice linked them to Ryan. It learns, the tall one whispered. It maps before it strikes. Ryan tapped again. He counted the drone sweeps. 3-beat scan. Half-beat reset. 3-beat scan. He timed a throw in his head. He did not throw yet. He waited for a reason. A faint sound rolled through the vents. A child's yelp, soft and quick. Then a hiss of gas somewhere far away. Ryan looked up. Only once, only for a breath. Then he looked back at the drones. He did not show what the sound did to him, but the voice measured his pupils and saw a change. Anomaly, it said. External stimulus increases focus. Threat level rises. The light shifted from red to deeper red. Numbers lit the wall in cold white. Tentir appeared above the door and began to count down. 9:59:09:58 objective, the voice said to the drones. Contain the apex. Gas vents at the ceiling opened with a sigh. A sweet, heavy smell slid into the room. The drones lifted higher. Their legs clicked. A red dot touched the center of Ryan's throat. Ryan stepped left. The dot slid. He stepped right. The dot followed. He lifted the strap an inch. The dot did not move off him. He smiled a little. Not joy, not mockery. A smile that said, I see you. He dropped to 1 knee. In the same motion, he hooked the strap under the panel lip and flipped it open. He slapped his palm over the sensor, warm and damp from his breath. The grid sparked. The room lights glitched. The drones hesitated for half a beat. Half a beat was all he needed. He rolled under the camera blind spot, rose and slid along the wall toward the vent. He did not run. Running makes noise. He moved like a shadow that knew the floor. The voice noted the path and changed tone. Protocol A under review, it said. Reclassifying behavior strategic predator. The countdown hit Oro 9:10. The door slammed shut with a bang. The gas hissed louder. A deeper hatch began to open in the far corner. Ryan tightened the strap around his hand. He watched the hatch. He listened to the air. He was unarmed. The system had said so, but the system had also said something else. Apex. Detected. Ryan did not rush the vent. He stopped one step short. The air from the grate was warm, not cold. Warm air meant a fan was off. A fan off meant a trap. He listened. No fan. Only the low breath of gas curling down like fog. The drone spread. One drifted left. One climbed. One hung above him like a spider. Observation, the voice said. Target maps environment before movement. Ryan tapped the wall again. Different echo, sharper now. Behind the panel was not empty. Something dense sat there, a coil. Maybe a shock plate. The strap in his hand felt small. He turned it into a hook, twisting the metal with his knee. He pulled a thread from his shirt. He tied the thread to the hook. Now he had reach, even if small. A small tool was enough if the mind was large. He flicked the hook at the panel. It caught and slipped. He tried again. This time it held. He pulled. The panel moved 1 inch. Pain snapped his fingers. The plate bit him through the strap. Static jumped. He let the panel fall back and shook his hand. So, the plate was live. Good to know. Update, the voice said. Apex test risk with skin contact. Pain tolerance high. On the other side of the glass, the tall alien leaned closer to the screen. Its pale eyes did not blink. A smaller alien flinched when Ryan took the shock. The tall one did not flinch. He learns fast, the tall one said. Faster than models. Ryan kept his face blank. He wiped his fingers on his pants and made the hook stronger, looping the strap through itself. He was gentle with the metal. He moved like a man tuning a guitar. This was not panic. This was craft. The drone shifted again. The one above him tilted, found a better angle. Its red point sat on the hollow of his throat. Waited. Ryan looked up at the vent only for balance. He was not going into the vent. Vents promise escape in cheap stories. In real rooms, vents promise blades. He trusted rooms more than promises. He stepped sideways and pressed his ear to the wall. A new sound came through, not gas, not drones. Footsteps. Light. Scared. The rhythm of a small body trying to move quietly and failing. Ryan closed his eyes for 1 second. He saw another small body in his memory. Different room. Different year. Same rhythm. He opened his eyes. The cage is not for me, he said to himself. His voice was soft. It is for choice. The system heard him. The microphones drank his words and pushed them across the station like a whisper in a cathedral. Note, the voice said. Apex speaks. Content, self-annotation. Tone, calm. The countdown on the wall dropped to 0821. Ryan angled the hook toward the panel again, but not to pull. He hooked the thread under a thin cable that ran along the edge. He tugged the cable, not the plate. The cable came loose and flashed once. The live plate clicked off. The lights did not change, but the air felt different. He touched the plate with the back of his knuckles. No shock. Good. He opened the panel and saw the key, a small sensor rod that tasted the gas. He breathed on it once, heavy and wet. The rod fogged. Numbers on the wall flickered. 0818 froze, then jumped to 9 Dalkar. The voice paused. Gas density reading error. Recalibrating. The drones hesitated, their legs curling in like spiders thinking. Ryan slid his fingers inside and pinched the sensor rod between 2 wires. He did not break it. He only tilted it. He made it smell clean air where there was not clean air. The vents above him narrowed to thin slits. The hiss softened. 1 action. 4 effects. He stood and moved 3 paces to the left. Now the blind spot and the plate were his shield. He looked up at the camera and nodded once. Not a smile. Not a taunt. A nod like 2 workers on a line agreeing to keep the line moving. On the screen, the small alien pointed at the feed. It helps itself without hurting anything, it said. Its voice was high like the footsteps had been. The tall alien said nothing. A new sound crawled in. Metal teeth chewing metal. Something below the floor was waking or starving. Protocol A remains active, the voice said. Introduce variable. The floor tilted by 5 degrees. Not enough to make a man fall. Enough to make a careful plan slide wrong. Ryan bent his knees and took the tilt. He let the pull carry him toward the far corner. He did not fight it. He used it like he used pain, like he used air. The drone above him shifted to hold aim. Its red dot wandered. It did not like tilt. Machines hate slant. Ryan made himself small and rolled. The red dot missed. A thin beam chewed the wall where his head had been. Not a stun beam, a cut beam. So they had moved from cage to knife. He felt calm, a quiet calm like the moment before rain hits the dust. He landed in a shadow under a ladder. The ladder went up to a catwalk, then to glass. Behind the glass, a small face appeared and then ducked away. Wide eyes, thin fingers. The child. Ryan's chest tightened, then released. He took one breath and put the feeling away where it would not slow his hands. Variable response. Apex reduces heart rate on contact with young specimen, the voice said. The tone changed by 1 degree. Not cold now, curious. The countdown hit 08. Corn. The floor tilt eased. The drones corrected. Gas thinned. Ryan tied the strap hook to the ladder's lowest rung. He climbed 1 step, then 2. He stayed in the camera's blind seam where the shadow broke the far hatch was a black mouth. Air moved inside it like the breath of a cave. Heat and wet metal smells came out. Something alive was down there. Something heavy. Ryan did not look at it long. He looked at the glass and the child. The blue shield over the window was thin now like old ice in spring. It would fail soon. When it failed, the child would be open to gas, to drones, to teeth. 2 drones held him in their sights. Their red points sat on his throat and heart. The 3rd drone lay dead, smoking in the corner. System, Ryan said again, calm and steady. Open a door to the child. Negative, the voice said. Variable test active, Ryan's hand stayed up. His eyes did not blink. Then watch, he moved like a snap. One hand dropped, caught the strap sling still looped to the ladder rail. He pulled hard. The rail flexed and sang. The sound bounced in the room at a sharp angle. The drone on the left twitched at the echo, recalibrating. Ryan stepped into that twitch. He slid under the first beam. The second beam licked the top of his shoulder and burned cloth. He did not stop. He threw the sling high. The hook spun. It did not aim for the drone. It aimed for the overhead mist line. Thin pipe, soft metal, full of coolant. The hook kissed the pipe bit and tore it open. Cold fog exploded across the ceiling. The room went white and wet. The lasers cut through fog like red wire, but the drones hated the mess. Their sensors blinked, then blinked again, unsure. Ryan vanished into the white. He was 3 steps left when the first beam fired. It carved a red stripe where his ribs had been. He was already low, already moving. He tapped the floor once with his knuckles, felt the slope and let the tilt carry him under the camera seam. He came up near the dead drone. He grabbed its carcass by the leg, a heavy baton now, and swung it into its brother as the fog thinned. Metal hit metal with a deep, honest sound. The living drone bounced off the wall and tumbled. Its stabilizer screamed. It spun. Its beam sprayed a cut across the ceiling, then died. The last drone corrected fast. It was smarter. It dove. Ryan yanked the dead drone up like a shield. Light hit the corpse and burned a hole through its shell, then slowed. That half-second was enough. Ryan shoved the dead drone into the living one, pinned it to the wall and jammed the strap hook through both of their legs to knot them together. The room went quiet in a violent way. Gas still hissed. Coolant still fell like light rain, but the red dots were gone. Observation, the voice said. It was almost soft. Apex disables threats, preserves structure. Collateral damage minimal. Ryan turned to the window. The blue shield was a thin line now, a wire of light along the glass edge. The child's eyes were wide. Fear and hope lived there together like 2 birds in one small cage. Stay low, Ryan said, 2 fingers down. The child nodded. Ryan ran. He ran in a straight line because now noise was less dangerous than time. He took the ladder 3 steps at a time. His shoulder stung where the beam had kissed him. He ignored it. He reached the catwalk. The glass hummed under his hand. Warm. Weak. System, he said. Shield is failing. Open the panel. Protocol requires. He did not wait for the rule. He slid his fingers under the frame where the light was thinnest and felt a latch. He pushed in, then up. The latch clicked, the shield guttered. It did not die. It pulled itself into a small oval at the center of the window, like a heart saving itself. The panel under the window popped loose. Ryan ripped it open. Blue sparks jumped at his fingers. He did not flinch. He saw 3 rods in a triangle. He touched them once, quick, hot. He needed to take one out and swap 2. Simple if the rods did not cook his bones. He looked at the child. Hands? He asked, quiet. The child held out small hands without fear. Brave little thing. Ryan shook his head. No, watch, learn. He took the strap, wrapped it around his palm 3 times, and pinched the first rod through the metal. He pulled it free and set it between his teeth. He slid the second rod left, the third rod up, and slammed the first rod down where the third had been. The window sang like a tuning fork. The blue shield flashed, then spread out again in a strong layer over the glass. The shield was not full power, but it was power enough. The child smiled. It pressed a hand to the glass. Ryan pressed his palm back. Palm to palm through light. On the other side of the glass wall in the control room, the tall alien watched with a face that could not decide what to be. The small alien, same eyes as the child, let out a sound that was almost a sob and almost laughter. It protects non-kin, the tall one said. Whisper soft, as if the room itself might change if the words were too loud. Update, the system said. Apex shows protective behavior toward young specimen. Classification anomaly. From the black mouth of the lower hatch came a long, low growl. It was not a roar. It was a promise. The floor thrummed with the weight of a body large enough to make bolts think about popping loose. Ryan turned his head just enough to mark the sound. He did not look away from the child for one more breath. He let the child see that his face was calm. Calm as a rope. Others can hold it. Then he moved. He pulled a strip from his torn sleeve and tied it to the ladder rail. A simple flag, a mark in case smoke filled the air. He scanned the catwalk, found the service path to the control room, and found the lock, 3 screws, 1 seal, 1 shock plate like the one below. He took the dead drone leg from his belt, wedged it under the seal and twisted. The seal broke with a dry pop. He touched the plate with the back of his knuckles, safe. He slid the panel and reached for the manual release. System, he said, voice low. Listen to a new rule, silence. Even the gas seemed to hold its breath. Apex protects first, Ryan said. Then it teaches. He pulled the release. The door to the control room cracked open by 2 fingers. Cool, clean air kissed his face. A corridor beyond glowed pale. Denied, the system said, but its word came too slow. The door was already moving. The new rule was already in the room. Ryan looked down through the grate. The thing in the hatch stepped into the light. Its hide drank the red glow and gave nothing back. Its jaw was full of tools shaped like teeth. Its eyes were wrong and old. Chains hung broken behind it like metal vines. The nullhound, it raised its head and tasted the air. It found him. The countdown on the wall hit. 6:40. Ryan nodded once to the child through the glass. Inside. Hide, he said. The child obeyed. Ryan took the dead drone leg in both hands, felt its balance, and turned to face the beast. System, he said, almost a whisper. Watch close. Recording, the voice said. Label review in progress. The nullhound exhaled, low and hot and charged. The nullhound charged like a train. Its steps shook screws in the floor. Its breath smoked in the cold air. Its jaw opened in a red V. Ryan did not step back. He stepped sideways. The beast hit the ladder where he had been. Metal screamed. The catwalk shivered. Bolts spun and danced. Ryan slid along the rail and dropped. He caught a bar with one hand, swung, and landed light. The dead drone leg was in his other hand. He used it as a lever, not a club. Observation, the system said. Apex reads momentum. Avoids direct force, the nullhound turned. It hated puzzles. It liked lines. Ryan gave it angles. He tapped the floor once like a bell. The beast came again, a black flood. Ryan waited a breath and moved. The hound's jaw hit the rail. Teeth sparks fell like stars. Its head stuck for half a second between 2 bars. Half a second is a door for a human mind. Ryan shoved the dead drone leg through the gap and twisted. The rail bent. The hound pulled free, but it left skin and rage behind. It howled. The sound slapped the walls. Above, the child vanished from the glass. Good hiding. Protocol A. Failing, the voice said. Something like interest lived in the tone now. Escalate to Omega. The red lights deepened. Floor arrows lit up white and sharp, pointing all directions at once. Doors boomed. A thin siren started that felt like a knife inside the ear. In the control room, a side door cracked open. 2 alien techs stumbled out, eyes wide, hands empty. They saw Ryan, they froze. Ryan pointed at them with the drone leg, calm and clear. With me, he said. Quiet, stay low. Do what I say. They looked at each other. Fear argued with sense. Sense won. They nodded and moved behind him. The null hound paced, tail cutting the air like a blade. It was choosing who to kill first. Rian made that choice for it. He flicked a bolt at the beast's eyes. The bolt pinged off horn, nothing more, but the insult was loud. The hound lunged at him. Good. Ryan sprinted, not away, through. He ran past a grate he had loosened before and kicked its edge as he passed. The grate fell behind him like a door. The hound hit it chest first, stumbled, and broke it. It lost a breath. Ryan won one. Map, Ryan said, to no one, to everyone. I need a map. A wall panel woke under his palm. White lines bloomed, decks, ducts, core routes. A flashing diamond showed the reactor. Another diamond showed the hound. A third diamond blinked where the child's room was. Ryan's eyes moved like hands. He traced paths. He found a narrow corridor that cut past a coolant spine and into the central controls. He looked at the techs. One tall, one small, both shaking. You, Ryan said to the tall one. Carry tools. You, he said to the small one. Watch rear. Tell me if it stops or turns. He touched his chest. I take front, simple words. Clear jobs. Fear likes orders it can hold. They moved. The corridor was thin and slanted. Pipes on the right whispered cold. Pipes on the left whispered heat. The siren thinned here. The air tasted of tin and old water. Behind them, the nullhound found their scent. It came on soft paws now. Not a train. A storm you do not hear until it is inside your house. Rian stopped once at a junction and pulled cable from a wall box. He tied it low across the hall, knee-height. He rubbed coolant from a leaking valve on the floor to make a thin slick. Trip line, he said. Slow it. The small tech swallowed and nodded. They moved again. Up ahead, a door sat heavy and square. A manual wheel, black and stiff, lived on its face. A sign in alien script pulsed above it. The tall tech read it and went pale. What? Ryan asked. Core bypass, the tall tech said in a hush. Heat shield, weak. High risk. Good, Rian said. He set his hands on the wheel. He pushed. It did not move. He pulled and pushed with his whole body. The wheel angered him. He angered back. It shifted a quarter turn, then locked. He breathed out. You, he said to the tall tech. Take my place on 3. The tech blinked. Me? Yes, Ryan said. You are big. Big turns iron. I clear vents. 3, 2. They swapped on 1. The big tech slammed his weight into the wheel and screamed. Metal moaned. The wheel turned half, then full. The door gasped and slid aside. Steam breathed out, hot and old and tired. The nullhound hit the trip line behind them. It did not fall. But it broke stride. It slid on the slick. Its jaw scraped the floor and tore sparks. It roared in shame, which is more dangerous than pain. Inside, Ryan snapped. They dove through the door. Ryan pulled the wheel back a quarter and jammed his metal strap into the gears. He did not try to lock a beast. He tried to delay one. The room beyond was a narrow bridge of grating over a sea of gold light. The reactor heart pulsed far below like a sleeping sun. Heat rose in waves that shook vision and memory. The system's voice echoed low now, almost respectful. Warning, core fluctuation. Overload in 1120. Human survival probability in this room, 13%. Noted, Ryan said. He moved to a side console and ripped the cover off. He found 3 levers marked in thin alien lines. He could not read the script. He could read machines. He put a finger on each lever.
He closed his eyes and felt the hum.
The left lever sang hot. The right lever sang cold. The middle lever nothing, but cheap metal always lies. He smiled without humor. Sequence? The tall tech asked, voice small in the big heat. Left down, Ryan said. Right up. Middle twist and hold. Hold how long? The tech asked. Until your arms cry, Ryan said. Then longer. The tech stared at him. Then he took the middle lever and twisted. It fought him. He fought back. Rear, Ryan said to the small tech. The small tech pressed its ear to the door. It is quiet, it whispered. No, Ryan said. It is thinking. He pulled the left lever down. It burned his palm. He smelled his own skin cook. He did not let go. He pushed the right lever up. Cold bit bone. His fingers went numb. Good. Pain told the truth. Numb lied. He slapped blood back into his hand. The grate at their feet thumped once. The nullhound had found a new path. The vents. It was clever now because rage had failed. System, Rian said. You want an apex rule? Here is one more. Silence followed like a bow. Pain is a path. He locked the left lever with a snapped bolt. He looped wire around the right and pulled it to a hook. He freed one hand. He grabbed the big tech's forearms and added his strength to the twist. The lever turned another tooth. Somewhere below, a valve screamed open. The golden light dimmed one shade. The floor stopped thrumming and started breathing slow. Stability improving, the voice said. Reactor settling. Human loss probability reduced. Rian looked up at the ceiling grate. A shadow moved behind the mesh. The hound's tongue tasted heat through holes the size of coins. Move, he told the techs. And a bridge. Behind that bulkhead. When I say run, run. They did not argue now. They had borrowed his backbone and liked how it felt. Ryan walked to the center of the bridge and put the dead drone leg across his shoulders like a yoke. He rolled his neck once. The heat painted his skin in hard light. He looked at the grate and spoke in a low voice the microphones would hear. System, he said. Label this. The grate exploded inward. The Null Hound fell like a black comet. Ryan stepped in under it, not away. He met force with timing. He jammed the drone leg into the space between jaw and chest, one of the only soft places, and turned his hips the way he had turned the iron wheel. The beast's head snapped sideways. Its body went where its head pointed. It skidded across the bridge and crashed into the bulkhead. Run, Ryan said. The techs ran. The hound rose, furious, and more than that, confused. It had never been moved like that by anything small. Ryan did not try to outmuscle it. He gave it targets. He slapped the bridge. He shouted. He cut his own forearm with a shard and let blood drip. The smell dragged the hound's eyes where he wanted them, left, right, then center. Come on, he said, quiet, almost kind. Again, it came. The bridge shook with the hit. Ryan swayed and lived. The hound bit the railing and tore it away. A long piece of rail spun and fell into the golden light, turned black, then ash. Reactor stable, the system said. Omega test continues. Note, Apex exhibits leadership under heat stress. Ryan smiled without teeth. Keep writing, he said. The hound crouched low, ready to spring. Rian felt the hum of the core in his bones turn one note lower. He set his feet. From the far end, the small tech cried out, Door sealed! Manual crank jammed! Of course it was. Rian never looked away from the hound. Hold, he told them. I'll open it. How? The tall tech asked, voice breaking. Rian lifted the drone leg and pointed it at the beast. By making it hit the right wall, he said. And then the Null Hound leaped. The Null Hound leaped. Rian did not meet it head on. He turned his body one hand width and lifted the drone leg like a wedge. Jaw met metal. The beast's head snapped sideways. Its body slid past him and smashed the right bulkhead. Bolts screamed. A hidden rod inside the wall jumped. Somewhere under the floor, a stuck gear shook loose. The small tech shouted, The crank moved. Again, Ryan said. The hound spun with a sound like stone on bone. It came low this time. Smarter. Its tongue tasted his blood still fresh on his arm. Its front claws spread to take his legs. Ryan stepped into heat and pain. He dropped the drone leg like bait, then kicked the slick patch he had made earlier with coolant. The beast's paws hit the shine. It slid a breath. A breath was enough. He drove his shoulder into the hinge under its jaw, the soft triangle he had found, and turned his hips the way he had turned the iron wheel. The hound's head slammed the same bulkhead. The rod inside jumped again. The manual crank at the far door jerked a quarter turn on its own. Door's freeing, the tall tech cried, voice full of shock and hope. The hound's claw ripped across Ryan's side as it fell. Heat flared white. Blood ran. He tasted copper. He did not step back. He could not afford back. System, he said through breath. Write this down. Recording, the voice said. It was not cold now. It was present. Pain is a path, Ryan said. He set his feet. We walk it when we must. The Null Hound rose slow, angry and confused. It had lived on simple rules. Chase, bite, break. The small thing did not follow those rules. It made new ones with bones and timing. Ryan picked up the drone leg again. It was bent now. Good. A bent bar could hook. He glanced at the techs. On my mark, he said. You, turn the crank. You, hold the lever. They nodded, eyes on him like ropes on a post in a storm. The hound lowered its head. Its eyes went narrow. It feinted left, then snapped right, faster than bad weather. Ryan did not fall for the left. He did not chase the right. He watched the shoulders. Shoulders tell truth. Jaws lie. He moved half-step before the strike. The bite caught his forearm instead of his throat. Teeth locked. Fire ran up his nerves. He did not pull away. He pushed in, jamming the bent bar between molars, twisting it in the joint. The beast's mouth opened on reflex. A small opening. A small opening is a door. Ryan ripped his arm free and slammed the bar under the jaw hinge again. The beast roared. The sound shook dust from rails. "Mark!" Ryan shouted. The tall tech threw its weight into the manual crank. Muscles bunched. Metal groaned. The door moved, slow and stubborn. The small tech held the lever at the console, hands shaking, teeth bared like a thing that had remembered it also had teeth. The nullhound struck again, wild with humiliation. It barreled into Ryan chest to chest. The bridge rail took his back. His spine sang with pain. The drone leg flew from his hand, clattering away. Claws raked ribs. The world went bright dots for a moment. He tasted floor. He hugged the beast's neck to live under the teeth. He felt the heat in its throat. He smelled the iron in its breath. He heard the core behind it, slow and deep like a giant heart, learning to be calm. "Let go," the small tech cried. "It will crush you." "No," Ryan said. "It will carry me." He rolled with the hound's force, took its weight, and turned it into a spin. Bodies banged the rail. The rail bent out toward the light. The hound's hind leg slipped through the gap. It scrambled to pull itself back. It could not push hard. The bent rail bit its skin. Ryan used that one breath. He reached for the strap still wedged in the door gear behind him. He yanked it free and threw the loop over the hound's neck, then over a pipe on the deck. He pulled until the muscles on his forearms burned like iron. The strap went tight. The pipe groaned but held. The hound thrashed. The strap cut deep. Not a choke. A leash. Not forever. Just long enough. "Crank," Ryan barked. The tall tech screamed and turned the wheel. The door yawned open a man's width, then two. A thin wind blew in from the corridor beyond. Cooler air, cleaner air, a promise of more choices. Ryan planted a foot on the hound's shoulder and pushed. He did not try to throw the beast into the core. He would not break the bridge. He only stole its ground and kept its head low. The system spoke. Not flat, not warm, clear. Label update. Apex, Protector. In the control room above, the tall alien, the curator, stood very still. It put one hand to the glass and left it there, like a vow. "Open," Ryan said to the techs. They moved. The small tech darted through the door and found a panel with blue lines. It hit two switches on instinct and luck. The door stuttered, then locked at full open. Ryan stepped back from the hound, inch by inch. The leash held. The beast panted and stared at him with eyes full of hate and something else. Not fear. Not yet. Question. He lifted the drone bar from the floor and raised it in a slow, clean line. He did not threaten. He drew a line the beast could see. Here is the limit. There is the door. The hound stayed where it was, throat working against the strap, breath hot and hard. Ryan did not look away. He did not add sound. He let silence be a tool. After two breaths that lived like years, he turned and moved through the door. The techs followed, joy and terror mixed on their faces. They sealed the wheel one turn. Not locked. He would not lock a living thing to die slow. Just enough to make it think. A narrow corridor opened ahead. The station map on the wall pulsed with three paths. Control core, medical, shuttle. The small tech pointed at shuttle. "Escape," it said, voice small. Ryan looked at control core. He put his bleeding hand on the panel and felt the hum through metal. "System," he said. Status. Core fluctuations reduced, the voice answered. However, Omega escalation has triggered coolant reroute. New warning. Reactor overload in 12 CAUS. The numbers appeared again on a wall plate. 12er, 1159, 1158. The small tech made a sound like a word and a prayer. The tall tech looked at Ryan. We can run, it said. We can reach the shuttle. Ryan's eyes flicked to medical and then back to control core. The child's room sat between. The shield would not last forever. The shuttle would save 3. The core, if calmed, would save all. If failed, it would kill all. He breathed in. Air tasted of heat and hard choices. Open the route to the child, Ryan said. Then open the core route. Denied. The system began. Ryan cut across it. Open, he said again. I will work your fire. Silence. Then locks thumped in the walls. 2 doors slid aside. One toward the child's room, one toward the burning heart. Note, the system said, softer than any time before. Apex selects hardest path. Ryan wrapped the strap tight around his wounded arm. He handed the drone bar to the tall tech. If something comes for you, you hold this like a spine, he said. He touched the small tech's shoulder. You keep eyes open and tell truths fast. He turned toward the core. Behind him, a low metal groan rippled through the ship. The nullhound pulled. The strap creaked. Not forever, not long. Ryan did not look back. He walked into the heat. At the junction, he paused and spoke to the air. System, he said. Not a question, not a boast. Watch close. Watching, the voice said. Label review continues. Ryan set his hands on the manual hatch to the core route. The wheel was hot. The pane said hello. Good. He whispered to it. Walk with me. The countdown hit 11:12, and then a new klaxon woke, low and final. Additional alert, the system said. Omega purge scheduled for residential deck in 02:00. The child's deck. Ryan closed his eyes for one brief breath. He opened them clear. Change of plan, he said. We do both. He threw his shoulder into the wheel and began to turn. The wheel turned under Ryan's hands. Metal burned his palms. Heat spoke in a hard voice. He did not let go. Numbers crawled on the wall. Core. Overload. 1104, 1103 Omega. Purge. Residential deck. 0152, 0151. The child's deck. The tall tech stared at the timers and shook. We cannot do both, it said. We can, Ryan said. We must. The corridor lights flickered. The system listened like a hunter at a door. System, Ryan said. Route me a straight path to the purge valves. Then a path to central control. Routing, the voice answered. No cold now, no warmth. Just focus. 2 paths exist. One is short and narrow. One is long and safe. Show both, Ryan said. A map lit the wall. A thin blue line cut through a maintenance shaft no one liked. It crawled past heat pipes and fan blades. It kissed the skin of the core and kept moving. A second green line walked the long hall with many doors. Too slow, too many locks. Not enough time. Ryan pointed at the blue. This, the small tech squeaked. That shaft is not for people. It is for choices, Ryan said. He gripped the tall tech's shoulder. You take the bar. You guard this door. If the hound comes, you do not fight long. You delay. Steel is a clock if you hold it right. He touched the small tech's wrist. You go to the purge board on residential. Find 3 red wheels. Turn them half, not full. If you turn full, pipes crack. Half is enough to slow the purge gas. You hear me? Half, the small tech repeated. Not full. If you see the child, you hold them behind you. Simple words. Calm voice. He looked into the small tech's eyes until they stopped shaking. Calm as a rope, the small tech nodded. Calm as a rope. Ryan turned to the wall map and traced a simple plan with his finger. Step 1, he said. I open the shaft. I take the hot path to the purge master. I set a bypass to stall the timer. Step 2, you, he tapped the small tech. Turn the 3 red wheels half. That keeps line safe. It buys minutes. Step 3, I drop from the shaft into central control. I take the manual crank on the coolant gate. I hold it until the core sings low. The tall tech swallowed. If you fail? We do not plan to fail, Ryan said. We plan to hold. The system spoke low. Warning. Maintenance shaft temperature is above safe range for human tissue. Then we go fast, Ryan said. He seized the square hatch in the ceiling and pulled. It stuck. He set his teeth and pulled again. The seal broke with a sound like a hurt note. Heat breathed out and kissed his face hard. He looked back down the hall. The wheel door behind them thudded once. The strap creaked. The null hound tested metal with slow hate. System, Ryan said. One more rule. Listening. Apex goes first. He shoved his arms into the shaft and hauled his body up, ribs screaming. The metal burned through cloth. He moved anyway. He slid inside and pulled the hatch half shut behind him. The shaft was a throat of steel. Fans spun like slow knives farther in. Pipes ran hot on the left, hotter on the right. He kept to the thin middle and moved on elbows and knees. Every breath tasted of iron and old storms. Timer, he whispered. Core overload 1022, the voice said in his ear. Omega purge 0114. Ryan pushed faster. Below him, the small tech ran toward residential with a face set hard and small hands ready to turn red wheels. The tall tech stood at the door with the drone bar across its shoulders, body wide, eyes fierce. It had borrowed his posture and was not giving it back. Up inside the shaft, the first fan waited. It filled the round tunnel with lazy blades. A wire cage hummed around it. System, Ryan said, chest tight. Give me a slow, pausing fan rotation for 15 seconds, the voice said. Begin now. The fan slowed. It did not stop. He had 15 heartbeats to live through steel. He crawled. The blade slid past his back like cold rules. One kissed his shirt and cut a line. He did not stop. He rolled his shoulder and cleared the cage as the fan picked up again and whispered close enough to take hair. He breathed out once. No time for pride. Timer, he said, core overload 0958. Omega purge 0049. He kept moving. Skin stuck to hot plates. He left small prints on paint. The next corner turned bright with a leak of white light. A crack in a pipe gave off steam that flashed and turned the air to knives. He waited one breath. He counted the spit of steam. 1, 2, 3, release. 1, 2, 3, release. He slid through on release and left a piece of sleeve behind for the pipe to eat instead of skin. It still ate some skin. He did not scream. Scream is air. Air is life. He reached a small hatch with a yellow seal. Letters he could not read. He did not need the letters. He needed the bolts. He set his fingers and turned. One bolt moved. The second fought. He moved it anyway. The third would not move. He pressed his forehead to the metal and let heat speak through bone. System, he said quietly. If I pull, will the seal hold? Probability of minor leak, 34%, the voice said. Probability of catastrophic breach, 3%. Good odds, Ryan said. He pulled. The bolt screamed and spun. The hatch lifted a finger, then two. A smell like old snow washed into the shaft. Coolant. It crawled across his face like mercy. He slid through. The space beyond was a pocket of machines, a little bright lung above the core. A single wheel sat in the middle, black and mean. A narrow pipe with a blue tag fed it. A bypass lever lived beside it. System, he said. Confirm, this is Purge Master Feed? Confirmed, the voice said. Turning the bypass halfway will stall the purge 2 minutes. Half, Ryan said. I remember. He set both hands on the bypass and pulled. It moved like a mountain. He thought of the tall tech screaming at the door wheel. He thought of the child's hand on glass. He pulled harder. The lever turned to the halfway stop and locked with a solid, good sound. Update, the system said. Omega purge delay plus O2 mirror new timer, 02.46. Ryan closed his eyes once. He opened them on purpose. Small tech, he said into the air. Now, 3 red wheels. Half. Far away, small hands grabbed iron. One wheel turned with a grunt and a tear. A second wheel turned slower. A third wheel cried like an animal and moved a quarter, then half, then stopped. Done, the small tech shouted, voice shaking with triumph and fear. Half! The residential timer jumped again. Omega purge 0321, the child would have time. Ryan looked down through a grate in the floor. Central control lay under him like the back of a patient animal. Panels, pipes, a single huge crank at the far end. 2 meters below, a fall he could take. System, he said. Open the grate. Locked, the voice said. Manual release only. Of course. He wedged his fingers into the latch and pulled until bones begged. The latch laughed. He took the strap from his arm, looped it through the latch, wrapped it around his forearms, and leaned back with all of him. The latch snapped. The grate popped. He breathed out. He looked once toward the shaft behind. Heat moved there like a living thing. He looked forward. Cool air rose from the room below. He dropped. He hit hard, rolled, and came up on one knee with his hand already on the big crank. "Timer," he said. "Core overload, air weight 07, the voice answered. "Residential purge 0302. He set both hands and turned. The crank laughed like the latch had. He turned anyway. Pain ran up his arms and set its house in his shoulders. "Teach," he told the pain. "Do not just hurt, teach." The crank moved a tooth. The floor hum fell a note. He moved it another tooth. The hum fell again. Sweat ran into his eyes and turned sight to salt. Steel boomed behind him. A door somewhere up hall died. The nullhound was not patient anymore. "Tall tech," he called into the room. "Status." The reply came ragged and brave. "Holding. It wants to break me. I refuse." "Good," Ryan said. He leaned his back into the crank like he had leaned into the beast. "Refuse louder." The crank hit a hard stop. He forced it one more tooth past what it wanted. The core's deep song slipped lower like a giant breath letting go. "Reactor trending stable," the system said. "Heat drop detected. Human survival probability increasing." "Not enough," Ryan said. "We need safe." He pulled again. Something heavy struck the door above like a planet wearing claws. The room shook. Dust fell. A bolt fell too and pinged by his boot like a small bell. Ryan did not look back. He did not count the steps of the thing that wanted his throat. He counted teeth on the crank. He ground his teeth and matched the number. 2 more, he told himself. 2 more and the core will sing low. He moved the crank one tooth he set for the last. The control room door hinge screamed and split. The nullhound pressed its face through a gap of metal and light. It stared at him with the old wrong eyes of a machine that had learned to hate. Ryan smiled without joy. "Wait your turn," he said. He dragged the crank for the final tooth and the handle snapped in his hands. The wheel spun back a breath. The core note climbed half a pitch. The nullhound shoved the door wider, inch by iron inch. Ryan stared at the broken handle. He was very tired. He was also very alive. "System," he said, voice rough and calm. "Find me another way to hold this gate." Silence. Then the voice came fast and clear. "Option. Manual jam using foreign body and gear housing, left side 16 centimeters below spindle." Ryan wiped blood from his palm. He looked at the broken drone leg on the floor against the wall. He looked at the gap where the hound forced its head through. He moved. Ryan dropped to the gear housing on the left. Heat kissed his face. The broken drone leg lay by the wall like a promise. He grabbed it. Behind him, the nullhound pushed its skull through the torn door. Metal screamed. The gap grew. Spit burned the air. Its eyes were old and wrong and fixed on him. "Timer," Ryan said. "Core overload, 0731. The system answered. "Residential purge 0212. He slid the drone leg under the spindle 16 centimeters down, just like the voice said. He felt for the gear teeth with burned fingers. He found the notch. He jammed the metal in and kicked it home. The crank shuddered, then held. The core's deep note fell a breath. The floor stopped trembling and began to breathe. "Stabilization improving," the system said. Gate held. The nullhound tore the door free. It stood full in the opening now. Chains like dead vines, hide black as shut eyes, jaw full of tools. It dropped the door plate and stepped in with slow hate. Ryan faced it. No club, no blade, only heat and a jammed gate behind him. "Run," the tall tech said from the side bulkhead. Its voice shook, but its feet held. The small tech stood behind it, small hands clenched, cheeks streaked with heat and grit. "No," Ryan said. "We finish." The beast came low and fast. Ryan moved late on purpose, giving it what it wanted to see. At the last blink, he stepped inside the bite and pressed his forearm to the hinge under the jaw, his spot, and turned with his hips. Not to throw. To redirect. The hound's skull kissed the wall. It reeled but did not fall. It learned. It cut in with a paw and opened his side again. Red made a new map on his shirt. "System," Ryan said. "Quiet. Watch." "Recording," the voice said. He did not chase the beast. He walked 2 slow steps to the left, letting it follow. He let his blood drip where he wanted, a trail across the grate toward the jammed gear. The hound tracked the smell like a line on paper. Hunger erased caution. It lunged at his chest. Ryan dropped and slid under the neck, grabbed the dangling chain and looped it around the gear mount. He stood hard and yanked. The chain bit steel. The hound's head snapped back. For one breath, beast and machine were tied to the same anchor, the jammed gate that held the core. "Now," Ryan said to the techs, "go to the far door. Open it one turn and wait for my call." They ran. The tall tech put shoulder to iron. The small tech held the lever again, teeth bare in a small, brave snarl. The hound tore at the chain. It would break free, not yet. Not this breath. Ryan stepped in close and put his hand on its jaw. He felt the heat in its throat, the tremor in its rage. He spoke in a tone you use for storms and frightened horses. "No," he said. "Not today." The beast froze for half a heart. Not fear, recognition, the small thing was not prey. It was pattern. Update, the system said to itself. Anomalous interaction. Predator-predator social pause. Ryan took that pause and made it a rule. He slid his hand down, found the strap mark on its neck where he had leashed it before and pressed there, steady pressure, not pain. A limit. He drew a line the animal part could read. "Back," he said. "Back." The hound's chest moved with a new kind of breath. It took one step back. The chain eased. The jammed gate held. The core sighed a lower note. From above, a small face peered behind glass. The child. The shield over that window still held, thin but bright. The little hand lifted in a slow salute. 2 fingers down. Wait. Learn. Ryan lifted the same sign. "Calm as a rope," he said. The child nodded. "Timers," he said. "Core overload. 0602. The voice replied. "Residential purge, 0118, not enough." He needed minutes. He had seconds. "System," Ryan said, voice level. "I need you to do a new thing. Define. When I say open the purge to sampling mode for 3 seconds. Not full, just a taste. Route it through the child's deck ducts back into my room. Then close. Risk contamination." "I will stand in it," Ryan said. "I will teach your sensors a new smell." Silence. Then, accepted. "On your mark." Ryan stepped to the center of the room between the beast and the gate where the air moved clean. He rolled his shoulders. He bled steady. He was a man and a map. "Mark," he said. Soft hisses answered far away. Somewhere on residential, vents kissed open for a taste. Not a flood. 3 seconds. A whisper of death. The air in the control room changed. A thin thread of sweet, heavy scent slid toward him like a snake made of sleep. Ryan met it with his skin and lungs and the hard set of his will. He stood straight and let it wash over him. His pupils did not widen. His breath did not race. His muscles did not fold. "Record this profile," he said. "Human, high stress, high heat, no panic. Label protector." "Recording," the system said. Data scrolled in its invisible brain. Numbers learned a new shape. "Now," Ryan said, "compare. If the same gas touches small lungs, prioritize purge delay and route clean air instead. Call it the child rule." Silence that felt like thought. "New rule created," the system said. "Child rule active for residential." The purge timer jumped. Residential purge 0446. The child would live. Others would live. The hound wrenched the chain apart. Links flew like angry birds. It charged, mad that the rules had changed without it. Ryan did not back up. He stepped through the charge and tapped the hinge once more with his forearm. The beast stumbled, missed teeth, and smashed its shoulder into the bulkhead. "Door," Ryan called. The tall tech hauled the manual wheel open. Cool, clean air spilled in. A narrow corridor beyond glowed soft white like a promise kept. Ryan backed toward it, still facing the hound. "With me," he told the techs. "Slow. Do not run." Running wakes chase. They moved together, 3 small figures in a furnace, taking ground like a tide. The hound shook its great head. Its eyes locked on Ryan. It breathed hot and stepped once, twice, then stopped at the line his hand had drawn in the air. "System," Ryan said, gaze still on the beast. "Say the label." The voice spoke to the whole deck, to every room, to every watcher behind glass. Final label: Apex, Orn Protector. Builder, Teacher. In the control room above, the curator stood and placed a hand on the glass again. This time it bowed its head, not to a weapon, to a rule. Ryan kept moving until the cool air touched his back. He did not look away from the beast until the door shut between them. The wheel locked with a heavy sound that was not a jail. It was a boundary. He sagged then just a little, and the tall tech caught his elbow. The small tech pressed a cloth to his side. He hissed and smiled at the same time. "Status," he said. "Core. Stabilizing," the system answered. "Trend to safe within 030. Residential. Purge delayed. Child rule engaged. Casualties reduced." "Good," Ryan said. He looked at the map on the wall. The child's room blinked a calm blue. "You did it," the small tech whispered. Its voice shook like leaves after wind. "You made new rules." "We made them," Ryan said. "Hold them." They walked the corridor toward central elevators. Lights warmed from red to white as the core's song fell to a human note. On a side panel, a small door slid open. Inside lay a row of med strips, water bulbs, and a clean shirt in a universal size. The station was helping. "Thank you," Ryan said to the air. Response, "You are welcome," the system said, and it meant it. They reached a wide hall with a viewport. Space hung there, black and full. The station turned slow. A thin line of sunrise licked the curve of a planet below. The child ran to meet them from a side door with the small alien from the control room, parent or kin behind. The shield over their window was bright again. The child stopped 2 steps away and lifted its hand, 2 fingers down. "Wait. Learn." Then it threw itself forward and hugged Rian's leg with careful arms so it would not press the wound. Ryan patted its head once. "Easy," he said. "We are not done." He looked up at the curator. The tall alien stepped close. It made a gesture he had not seen, then tried a human nod. It was clumsy and sincere. "We watched you," the curator said, voice low. "We tested you. We were wrong." "Good," Rian said. "Be right now." The curator pointed to a sealed arch ahead. "The archive," it said. "It will answer questions. It will also raise them. Later," Ryan said. "First we fix your doors." The small tech laughed once, an amazed sound. The system cleared its voice, or did something like that. "Notification," it said. "New external contact." Ryan turned his head, slow and tired and ready. "Define. Second apex signature," the system said. "Inbound. Profile unknown. Arrival in 047. The viewport lights dimmed. In the far black, something moved, small against dark, bright against rules. Engines burned in a clean line. A ship, a suit, a signal with bones. Ryan rolled his shoulders. He felt his pain, and his pain felt like a tool he knew. "Open a channel," he said. "Open," the system replied. Static popped. Then a voice, thin but clear, walked into the hall. It was human or close, and it smiled without lips. "Unarmed target," the voice said. It paused. "Correction." "Hello, Apex." Ryan grinned for the first time. It was small and full of trouble. "Welcome," he said. "Mind the rules." Behind him, the station's lights lifted to a living white. The core sang steady and low. The child rule glowed in the system's new book like a candle that could stay lit, and the door to the archive began to open.